Hey guys, before we get started, we have some special business to attend to. Saturday, October 5th at the LA Comic Con. We have two panels going on at 2 p.m. in room 303AB. We have our Predator, the Hunt for the Coolest Character panel with some special guests. We have Richard Chavez, the actor who played Poncho in the original Predator film, Mark Verheiden, writer of 3 Predator comic series, including the very first Predator Concrete Jungle series, and Sam De La Rosa. He is the inker for that series. He is also a cover artist for some of the Marvel versus Predator series, which is freaking amazing. If you haven't read it, you should be. We are going to talk about it. It's going to be amazing. And then, of course, at 5 p.m. in room 402B, we're doing Ghostface Killer trivia again. Such a good time. Let's keep it rolling. So if you are in Los Angeles on Saturday, October 5th, come by, check it out, come see us, come see the panels, support us, support our guests. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Today, we have a very special guest. He is the motion actor behind some of our favorite animals in movies, especially the Cocaine Bear and King Kong. That's right. We got Allan Henry in the house. We met him at San Diego Comic-Con this year, had a great time talking to him, and he shows Matt how to be a King Kong. It's pretty awesome. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at LaunchpadPod, and our website, launchpadpod.com. Here we go.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Launchpad podcast here at Comic-Con 2024. We are just rolling through these interviews this weekend. We have another awesome one that's kind of like some of the others, but also very, very different. We have here the wonderful Allan Henry, who you may or may not recognize. You have played a high bear. You have played a high in height gorilla. More than one gorilla. Mr. Henry does motion capture for a lot of stuff, as well as some stunts. Where would we have seen you, but maybe not recognized?
Most recently would have been in the MonsterVerse films, Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. I was King Kong and the Scar King.
That's so cool! I'm talking to King Kong!
Yeah, and yes, I was also the Cocaine Bear. That is awesome.
What are some things that we might have seen your face where you didn't have either a costume or a motion capture suit or CG over you?
Ooh, that's a good one. So it's a lot of local New Zealand stuff. So there are some TV shows going on in New Zealand. There was one called After the Party. There was another one called Mean Mums, where I played a goofball primary school principal who was terrified of the mums at the school, but just tried to do his job. Actually, in the first Avatar film, I'm that little trooper that runs out when Quaritch shoots at them when they escape prison. And I give him his helmet. That's little old Allan Henry.
Now let me ask you this: so you've done some motion capture and some stuff where your performance has a visual veil or costume over you, and you've done some stuff where we can actually see you as an actor, your actual body, your actual face. Do you think that you, as a person, as a performer, are built in a way that suits you more to one or the other? And I don't even mean physically, but I mean the way that you think, the way that you want to present yourself as a performer.
That's a great question. I think I always introduce myself as a thoroughly strange person. So when I was younger, I watched a lot of cartoons, and I like the fact that a cartoon character can be anything. You know, they can dress up however they want. Some of them can change their form. They can do wild and crazy things. They can get hit with boulders or Acme anvils and then get up and be fine. And I wanted to be able to have that kind of range and opportunity and, you know, that breadth of experience as a performer. So motion capture, I think, was definitely where I was headed. I didn't know it at the time, but considering the litany of things that I've done, I'd say I was definitely programmed to do that sort of stuff.
I love that. Okay, so then the next step of that, you're watching cartoons, you're thinking like that, even if it's not conscious, but you might be feeling it in your body. Do you know when the first time that you started to do that type of performance where you were like, wait, this is my lane, this is what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, I think there were a few moments. One was attending like a youth drama school where I spent a week with a bunch of people my age learning an aspect of performing arts. And I learned stage combat from a guy named Tony Wolf. And I realized, wow, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to do kung fu stuff and like sword fighting and things like that. And that led to drama school training where I did more, physical performance, and I learned more performance methodologies. And a teacher of mine pulled a favor. She called in some favors. And my class and myself were invited to watch Andy Serkis doing King Kong capture in the studio.
Wow.
Which was a big deal. I didn't realize it at the time. And he, to see him do it, I realized not only is it possible, but it's accessible. And I think that was the turning point where I was like, I could do this. I've just seen this guy be Gollum, and now he's King Kong. This is it. This is that variety of character. And so that was, I think, the final turning point where I really directed my focus towards being a physical creature performer. And I did some suit work in the Hobbit trilogy, and then also augmented that with mocap for the same characters. So it was that was a really wonderful, not a training ground, it was more like a crucible. It was really hard work. But I learned a lot, and I gained some really strong mentors from that, and Terry Notary and Andy was working on it. So I got to see and work with some real professionals. That was kind of the beginning.
So when you are doing something like King Kong and you're in a studio, you got the mocap suit on, but then you're on Cocaine Bear and you're literally in the field on stilts in the woods.
Yep.
Obviously, it's a huge difference in character and experience. Can you walk us through some of those differences?
Sure. The most obvious difference is one is in a studio, which is very controllable, and the other is as on location, which is, there are so many variables. There's sunlight, there's wind, there's the natural world. So with both of those opportunities, you have to really find what you can compromise on.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes a shorter, or you limit the amount of action you do just to keep everybody safe. Sometimes you go, you know what? Instead of being here, let's go over here, which gives us roughly the same thing. Being in the studio, you can have crash pads, you can have air conditioning, you can have snacks. On location, you got to be tough.
Yeah.
But you still get snacks, so...
That's like one of the biggest perks of making movies in Phil, right?
Snacks.
That is the third time we've heard this weekend. Everybody where's Crafty at?
Craft services are the heroes. Yes. I always tell people, they're like, should I get a job in the film industry? I'm like, craft services. Because everybody loves you. Right. Because you do a long day and we're all tired, and then you turn up with a plate full of snacks and everyone's like,
You're literally the second person today that we've interviewed that has pantomimed that snack person in the 11th hour.
Yes, because they are our heroes.
That's who we should be interviewing. That should be, we got to set that.
Yeah, interview craft services, yeah.
All right, so you're doing motion capture, you're doing suit performance, you're doing traditional acting. Across those different types of performance, do you feel that many directors direct you differently depending on what metaphorical hat you're wearing?
Yeah, I think so. And I honestly believe that any director worth his salt is going to know the difference and know how to get what they need with the tools that they're given. And some directors, I've had directors who have been really honest about their very kind of early knowledge of performance capture, which is great because at least they're honest about it and they can say, I'm not really sure how this works. What do you think? Which is a wonderful chance to collaborate. And that's what happened on a number of films where the director's they said, look, I'm not exactly sure how this works, but what I want to achieve is this. Could we try something like this? And then if you're lucky, you have really great VFX soups and anim soups who can go, I know what you mean, and this is how you can do it. And then everyone's learning and everyone's growing, and it's a wonderful collaborative kind of vibe. Some directors absolutely know what they're doing. and they know how it works, and they go, this is what I want, and this is when I want it, and this is the timing we're going to have, which is also great because you're like, oh, I know what you need, and I can give it to you, and we can get it done in 1 or 2 takes. It's great.
And how about when you play a character like Kong, who you've done more than once? So your second or third go-arounds, you've been in that skin before, right?
Yeah, I have, and it's great because there's already an established lineage, right? Mm-hmm. So the reference is there, and once it's in your body, I can't speak for all creature performers, but once it's in your body, it stays there. Like the muscle memory is there, and it feels comfortable getting back into it.
That's cool to hear. Let me ask you this. I got a couple more Kong ones, and then we're going to have some fun if you're cool with it, all right? All right. So, you know, there have been, let me think, off the top of my head, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's been at least like 7 or 8 Kong movies before you're involved. But now you're stepping into these giant shoes, right? How do you feel you've put your mark on the character, on Kong? Like, what if we're watching, or even if it's just personal to you, you being in Kong, how do you know you're Kong versus anyone else?
I think, for me, it's more about the tremendous honor of becoming part of that lineage, because you have a responsibility. There are established storylines and ideas about Kong, and I really enjoyed the challenge of honoring those past performances, whilst also seeing what Adam Wingard wanted to do with it and try and bring that to life. And I feel I have a lot of love for Kong, and I really feel immensely humbled to be part of it.
All right. Do you think you could give me a crash course in Kong? Show me maybe one motion, one movement, something that you could teach me that we could do kind of together.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Okay, so the biggest thing about Kong is that not only is he huge, but the way that he breathes informs what he's doing. Yeah. Okay. So he's very strong. Yep. He has a big neck, so he can't turn very much. So a lot of his movement is very square to whatever he's facing. Yeah. Nice. Yep. Broad shoulders. Good. Strong arms. Nice. And he is still very thoughtful and very soulful, but when he breathes, he's got these big lungs. He's got a big chest. Yeah. So when he breathes, it's yeah. Good. Now don't bring your elbows down. Yeah. So the breath is here and here. Yeah. 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 Because he's got these big, strong arms, big, powerful hands.
I just saw King Kong, man.
And when he celebrates, it's a big fist pump up with some chest beats just to let everyone know that he's the boss.
I love that.
That's it. That's him.
That's cool. I just learned how to be King Kong.
Yeah.
All right. So let's change gears for a second. Okay. So when you're, a performer, whether you're doing a traditional acting role or a super performer or a motion cap, you're kind of get your mind, and you as a whole body actor, you're getting yourself into a persona, right?
Yeah.
You can probably watch videos of gorillas. You watch, like you said, the lineage of King Kong as a character. You kind of put your own touches on it, and you walk around in that skin. Now someone wants you to do not only a different animal, a bear, much different than Kong, but literally a bear that is high. How do you, as a performer, get into that character?
It was a twofold process. It wasn't as method as you might think. But I did go to the zoo and observed some bears and tried to look at the aspects of their physiology and the way that they exist in the world. I tried to find aspects of that I could achieve. I can't achieve all of it. So I tried to get as close as I could to the way that a bear moves, the timing they have, their gait, the way that they move their legs is very different to how a gorilla walks on all fours. The way that they navigate their surroundings, like it's a lot of it with their nose and their mouth. And then I would also, I would watch CCTV footage and home videos of bears attacking people's cars and getting into the trash and try to find, there's a wonderful video where they set up a mirror in the forest and a bear wanders and sees it and goes from, this wonderful loping kind of bear to lightning quick, so fast. And he goes from this energy to that's so quick. I was like, how does a human get that transition and that explosiveness, like how do you do that? So I had a good friend who is a personal trainer, and I said, do you think you could design something to help me get this explosiveness? And he was great. He came up with something I could do in the hotel room, just to kind of make my muscles a bit faster when it came time to change that gear. In terms of the substance abuse, like,
I like that you say substance abuse as if there was like an okay level of cocaine the bear could have been doing that like wouldn't have been abuse.
well, to be fair, like any amount of cocaine is abuse for a bear. But when it came to that level, like that was Elizabeth Banks would have little suggestions about like make it a bit faster, jump a bit further, or look like twitch a little bit, or things like that. She would introduce little tics or changes. In terms of like the mindset of how that would affect the bear, I don't know how a bear thinks. In terms of the like how cocaine or any substance affects a mind, I looked at interviews with people who were substance abuse survivors and their recollections of it. So I tried to think about how that changed their mindset, the way that they explained it, and tried to kind of inject that into how Cokie explored the world when she was, not only when she was high, but also when she wasn't, and she was looking for that next bump from one of the bags.
When you're trying to play a bear, like King Kong is basically human shape, longer arm, a little bit, but like humans and apes have very similar physicality. A bear's head and their body shape, how do you account for that when you're trying to plan motion, when the neck is like 2 feet longer than yours?
I was fortuitous that I had arm extensions, so that when I was on quadruped, my spine was in this relatively same shape, and I didn't have to compromise too much of my own structure. And the neck and the head, I had a helmet rig, similar to when we do camera stuff, that just had a snout on it at the length that the snout would be. Fortuitously, Cokie, when she stood up, we were roughly the same height. So when I was standing up, I could just stand up and like flick the head rig down, and it would be a good point of reference. But a lot of the time, I was working with a snout that was out about here, and having to be aware of where it was, so that when I'm moving through and nudging actors and snuffling through the trees, I know that that's where the character ends. Yeah.
I mean, you have turned into that shape-shifting cartoon character that you liked when you were younger. You are as close to that really as you can be, right?
I'm getting there. I mean, there's still other avenues I want to pursue, like doing more stuff for voice acting and, animated features or in video games. Like there's always more that we can be doing and more challenges that I want to pursue, but I'm getting there.
That's so cool. Show off this ink. I need to see.
Yeah, we were looking at that before we were doing
Right. So I was at G-Fest a couple of weeks ago, which is a big kaiju convention.
Yeah.
And there was a tattoo artist there, and he gave me that.
Woo!
And he waited up till like 9 p.m. to tattoo me for 3 hours.
It's awesome.
So we just sat and chatted.
Both together, same time?
Yeah, 3 hours of getting Godzilla and Kong on my own.
That's so cool. Awesome.
Well, we actually have a big reveal to you. I don't think you know about this. Legacy Pictures wrote us. They are going to do a new MonsterVerse movie directed by Elizabeth Banks. It's going to be called Cocaine Kong. And they wanted us to rehearse with you a little
Okay,
bit.
sure. All right.
So can we do what we just did?
Yep.
But now Kong has found cargo planes full.
Just shipping containers. Yeah.
So how do we adjust and modify what we just learned to that?
So I would say my first thing is, let's say we're gonna grab a shipping container full.
Okay.
We'll crunch it above our face and swim in it, and then the change is gonna predominantly be in the eyes, because that's where a lot of Kong's emotion comes through.
Okay.
And then we'll say probably I reckon his breathing might shift.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how about can you do a demo?
Sure.
And I'll watch you, and then I'll try to mimic you as best, and then we'll do it together.
Yeah, right on. Okay. So comes here. Something like that.
Oh, yeah!
All right. So now take your performing hat off and put your directing hat on. You hold this
Right.
right about there.
Yep, sure. Good. That's it. Yeah. So, yeah, good breathing. Nice. That's it. Yep. That's it. Yeah, crunch. That's it. Yep. Good. Yeah, and it's hitting you. Nice. And let's see it in the eyes. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Increase that breathing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're basically the Kong version of Macho Man Randy Savage. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
Kong like,
Oh, yeah. Cream of the crop, brother. Cream of the crop.
All right. So here's the deal then. You're obviously going to get that role, but if you need an understudy, you got me, okay?
oh, you bet. Hell yeah. I need a break every now and then to eat some snacks.
You truly are one of the unsung heroes of the, like, there's, you know, we know, right? There's so many jobs that people don't even know exist, but people watch Cocaine Bear, they don't even realize that there was someone behind inside that. Same thing with Kong, even same thing with Superformers. A lot of time we kind of forget that there are people in those suits, you know, and it's not just someone pretending to be a gorilla. It's not as simple as that, right? And I, you know, Aaron and I are giant Kong fans, giant Godzilla fans. We absolutely loved every kaiju movie that's come out. Like, you know, we have like Kong or Kong X Godzilla the same year as Godzilla Minus One.
Right?
Two completely different ends of the spectrum, but like, I want them both on Blu-ray. I want them both on DVD. I want posters. I want, because they're fantastic, right?
As fans, we've been eating well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I appreciate that sentiment, and I really do like owe a lot of thanks to Elizabeth Banks, because she just went on every talk show and was like, by the way, Allan Henry was the guy who did this, which is, she didn't have to do that, but she did. And because of that, I think other people are now warming to the idea that it's okay to like tell people that that giant atomic lizard is not just pixels being animated, like there are people involved.
And I think everyone oversimplifies that. They're like, oh, it's CG. But even that, like even the people at the computers, they're working, they're doing stuff. Right?
Yeah. My friends and colleagues at Weta FX are so good. They're so good. I love watching how they improve what I give them, because, you know, I'm never going to get 100% of the way there. But I trust what they do so much because they come out with such amazing results. It's incredible.
I always liken it to baking a cake. You can't have good icing on bad cake. And when you have that solid foundation of something good, the good cake bones, that icing is just makes it even better.
Yes.
And like, you provide a canvas that takes so much more work to get done if you don't do a good job, and you provide the performance, the intention, the timing, and now they just get to work on those face details, that nose flaring, the bulging veins in the neck. They get to focus on the icing that makes Kong or Cocaine Bear look amazing. It's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Tell our listeners, tell our followers, where can they keep current with you? Where can they follow you, see what you're up to, see what's coming next?
The best thing to do is probably follow me on Instagram, just at @AllanHenry_official, because that's where I'll be posting most of my stuff. I'm an old man. Other social medias scare me. But yeah, that's kind of, if it's not on billboards or posters around town, it'll be on Instagram.
Very cool.
All right. We are the Launchpad Podcast here at 2024 Comic-Con. We have a secret handshake that we do in the Launchpad Podcast. Okay. Now, I don't want to keep making you do tricks, but do you want to do it human style or you want to do it Kong style?
Let's see what it is human style.
Okay, so here's what it is. We start outside,
Yep.
we swish in, then you invert, and then we blast off like a rocket ship and make a raspberry.
Right on. Yeah, okay, let's do that. I'll do that as Kong.
Kong?
Yeah.
All right, I'll do regular, you do Kong.
Yeah, sure.
Ready?
Okay.
Whoopsh. That was fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, Allan Henry, thank you so much.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you.
That was amazing, getting to see him transform into King Kong. And when you look at him, when you look at his face and his body and his posture and his features, you can see where all of that comes through in the movie, which is just absolutely so cool. Anyway, as we mentioned before, if you are in Los Angeles, if you are going to the LA Comic-Con on October 5th, come check out our 2 Predator panels. Predator, The Hunt for the Coolest Character, with Richard Chavez, Mark Verheiden, and Sam Del Rosa. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And of course, one of our favorites, Ghostface Killer Trivia Show that we've been taking on the road and having a blast with, where the voice of Ghostface himself, Roger L. Jackson, calls in and does trivia. If you think you're good enough at horror movie trivia, come show us. Till next time, we're the Rocketeers and we're out.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.